Hello, friends. Hello, my young learners. I hope all of you are fine and enjoying all your lessons. Today, I, Rakhi Mishra, welcome you all to my session of English class, and the unit that we are going to discuss is Unit 2, and we'll be taking up poem by Subramaniam Bharati, and the name of the poem is Wind. My dear children, the moment you see this visual, what comes to your mind? Something blowing? We use different names for wind. The moment I say wind, sometimes it gives you a very pleasing feeling, a very pleasant feel, like wind blowing, breeze, air. But at the same time, there are moments, there are experiences in our life when wind has shown its tremendous face, its furious face. And then we just recall our experiences of cyclone, our experiences of strong gales. Is it not? Yes, it's true, my dear friends, that wind, most of the time we have seen that it has caused destruction. But the poet here, C. Subramaniam Bharati, has tried to convey something, some message for all the readers, for his countrymen. But before we discuss about the poem, let us know something about the poet also. Let us see. Poet was born on 11 December 1882 in Ettayapuram, and his father was Chinnaswamy Subramaniam Iyer and mother Lakshmi Amal Subbaya. His schooling was at MDT Hindu College, Tirunelveli. He had mastered in several languages like Sanskrit, Hindi, Telugu, English, and French. His interest, or you can say his profession or interest, was of variety, of various kinds. He was a journalist, he was a social reformer, and he was Indian independence activist. My dear children, here I would like to mention that anything that the poets or the authors write, the literature, maybe prose, poem, anything, short stories, we always see that these forms of writings or literature is actually the reflection of society. As I said, that he was born in 1882 and he died in 1921. So he didn't have much of a time in 38 years of lifespan. He has read, he has understood the society so well during the pre-independence era that he wanted to pen down, he wanted to express and reflect everything through his writings, through his poems. And this is something that we'll find in this wonderful piece of writing, this poem, Wind, that what he is trying to convey to the Indians, it is not simply that he is talking about wind. He has tried to go beyond that. He has tried to make us understand what this wind really means. Now let us see what the poem is all about. First, let us know something about the poem. The poet is addressing to the wind. And this whole poem is of 23 lines, having no stanzas. It has mainly two thoughts. One thought is talking about the destructive and the constructive nature of the wind. And the other thought is the lesson that we must learn from wind. That is very important here. What is the lesson that the poet wants to teach us, or we all have to get through this poem, through this wind? Tone is humorous, you will find, but at times you will also find that he is angry. His tone is anger, right? He is trying to reflect his anger for wind. Theme of this poem, main theme that he wants to highlight on, is that we have to be strong, we have to be self reliant, we have to be prepared to face the challenges in life. And with this, just remember these three things: be strong, be self reliant, and be prepared to face the challenges, because life is full of challenges. We cannot ignore challenges in life. Life is not a journey which is on a very smooth path. You'll definitely find ups and downs. You'll definitely find the challenges coming in your way. But through wind, we will learn, we'll get to know that yes, we have to prepare ourselves, and we have to be prepared, we have to be self sufficient to face these challenges instead of giving up. There is no rhyming scheme in the poem, and this is in free verse. I think all of you know that when there is no rhyming scheme, we say it's in free verse, right? Okay, now let us read the poem. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You were very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strongholds. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. This poem was originally written in Tamil language, and later on it was translated by another great poet, Kannada and English poet, whose name is A.K. Ramanujan. And he is also a classical, and you can see he's a great classical poet, and he has translated many of his poems. So this poem is basically written in Tamil, but translated in English from Tamil. Now, let us take the poem. You must have seen, I have divided the poem into two parts, right? First part, you see, we are just talking about the furious nature of the wind. You see how the poet starts the poem. Wind, come softly. That means he is addressing in a very calm way. But at the same time, when he sees that, when he realizes that it's not being heard by the wind, then he raises his voice and says, wind, come softly. It means he's commanding, he's giving a kind of command to the wind. Don't break the shutters of the windows. I hope all of you are following the lines. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. So what does it telling you? What does it mentioning? What does it trying to talk about? What are the different destructive activities of the wind? Here, what is it doing? It's trying to break the shutters of the window. Whatever papers are kept, maybe the poet is busy writing something important, and the moment the wind blows, what happens? The papers are getting scattered here and there, and the poet is getting disturbed. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. Books which are kept properly on the shelf with lot of care, they are being thrown down because of the strong wind. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. Note the tone of the poet here. Here he is quite angry. He's not very happy with the kind of things that are being done because of the wind, because of the furious mood of the wind. It is expecting it to be calm, but no, what it does, it comes, it blows, and it starts disturbing the things, right? displacing the things which were kept properly. You brought rain again. You see, whenever we have a strong wind, sometimes it is followed, especially you see when we have cyclone, right? And what happened is first strong wind, very strong, and wind was blowing, and after that it was followed by heavy rainfall. So it says that you brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at the weaklings. This line is very important. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. What do you mean by weaklings? Weaklings here means the weak people. You are very clever at making fun at the people who are weak or the things that are weak. The tiny, the tender, or you can say the trees which are hardly able to stand. You are just, because of your strong power, you are just trying to break them. You are crumbling the houses. You are crumbling the doors, crumbling the rafters. Rafters means the poles that are the wooden, you can say, log, which is kept as a support. Crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives. You see, it is not just the things that are being crumbled or that are being destroyed. Even the people's lives, you are destroying the lives of the people. And I think if you just, when you are reading these lines, you will definitely recollect what had happened to some of the states which had just faced the cyclones, whether in the eastern part of our country or the western part of our country. There was a lot of destruction. And it took months or sometimes years to really bring back the things back in place. So whenever we have such experience due to wind, it's really disheartening. It really troubles. It really creates havoc. And the poet is pointing out at the wind that you are making fun at those people who are weak or those things which are weak. Here, my dear children, if you have noted that the poet is mainly of the pre-independent era. And you know, there was a lot of suppression by the Britishers. Indians, the poor Indians were oppressed. They were being, they were subjected to lot of discrimination. They were subjected to lot of things that were not at all appreciable, right? So here we see that the Indians who are weak, he's actually the thought that is there at the back of his mind is about the people, that you are not bothering about the poor people. You are destroying their houses. You are making them so upset. They are, some of them even are losing their lives. They are losing their everything. Even they are disheartened. They have lost all their, you can say, hopes. So what is this? Why are you doing this? He's talking to the wind. This entire poem is actually being addressed to the to the wind. Wind is personified here. As if he's able to see wind and talk to wind. That what is it? We poor Indians who are oppressed, and this wind is actually not the wind that we always experience, the wind, the air, the breeze that we experience. Here wind is not just that. Wind is actually the turbulences in our life, the challenges in our life, the difficult moments in our life. And you all have known this. You all will agree with me that the time that Indians have faced in the pre-independent era was really very difficult. It was very painful for the people, for the Indians. And it is during that period when this poem was written. So it is reflected here that the weak people, the weak Indians who had nothing to do, they had surrendered. Sometimes we also find we have to surrender. When we are so troubled by the turbulences in our life, we just can't do anything. We have to surrender. So here, as if everything has been destroyed, we are physically, emotionally, mentally destroyed. We are gone. Why is it so? Why are you doing this? Then he addresses the wind god, winnows and crushes them all. The wind god, yes, we do worship wind as God. We call wind god. And in our culture, in Indian culture, we have seen that wind, sometimes these things like wind, we have even Mother Earth, we worship the trees, we worship sun, we worship moon. Is it not? We have so many other things other than the god and goddesses. We have these things also whom we worship. So here the poet is addressing the wind god, winnows and crushes them all. Winnows means you must have seen how the Indian villages, the women, the ladies are winnowing it. Right here, it is referring to something. Winnowing is actually a process in which the grain, or you can say, it is separated from the chaff, right? And it is done only when the wind blows. It cannot be done when in a closed room, right? It has to be done in a room, in an open area and the wind is must. So here the poet says that the wind god winnows and crushes them all, separates them all, separates the people who are weak, separates the things that are not wanted. So what do we have to do? He won't do. Now, in the previous lines you have seen, in all these lines, the poet is addressing wind. He's talking to wind, right? Now we see what is he trying to do. He won't do what you tell him. Here he is referring to wind. He won't do what you tell. You means the people. You tell him. So come. Now we have understood that wind is not ready to listen to us. It has decided that it is going to destroy, and it is going to separate the weaker ones from the stronger ones, right? And in this process, what happens is we also know about the survival of the fittest. So those who are strong can survive. Those who are weak will have to leave, will be nowhere in the society. We cannot exist. It is only those who are fit, those who are strong enough to withstand the challenges, they only can survive. So come, let's build strong homes. And the period through which we are going, dear children, it is no less than this pandemic is also a challenge for all of us. All of us means the entire world. And we all have to take it as a challenge and prepare ourselves so well to fight against this challenge, to fight against this kind of a big problem that this entire world is facing. Let's join the doors. What is he trying to say? What measures do we have to take now? What do we have to do? We have to make the joints of the doors firmly. Why? Because if we do that, then perhaps the strong wind also won't be able to break it. Practice to firm the body. We have to learn to be physically strong. Firm the body means we have to make ourselves physically strong. Make the heart steadfast. Not only physical fitness, not only physical strength, but we also have to understand that we should be mentally strong. Our heart should be steadfast. We should be emotionally very strong. We should not get disheartened. We should not think that this is the end of life. Rather, we should take these challenges, the difficulties in our life, convert them into opportunities. Convert them into your strength. Your weaknesses should be converted to your strength. So, do this and the wind will be friend with us. If we do that, if we learn to be strong enough to make ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally strong, it will definitely happen that anything stronger than us, which is trying to destroy us, will also bow down or will also be friend to us, be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. Those who are weak fires means the fire which is not that or that strong, or you can say it's not that powerful. That fire will be blown out if wind blows. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. Those who are strong, just like that wind, if you are strong, even any difficulty, even the wind will help us to grow, to flourish in life. So these difficulties, these challenges in life will help us to grow in life. If we face these challenges, perhaps we will learn to be stronger. We'll learn to face these challenges in life and will never be scared of these. Rather, whenever it comes, whenever difficult moments in our life comes, whenever we have the hardships in life, we'll be ready, we'll be prepared, we will tell ourselves that we are ready to face it. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. So here we see that friendship with the wind is also good, because without wind we can't think of our life. When the wind stops, when we feel that there is no wind blowing, what happens? We feel suffocated. We immediately say that there's no wind today. It's so suffocating. We don't feel comfortable. So it is also must. You just think of the sailors. Sailors can't think of moving if there is no wind. So it is a friend to some people sometimes. It is also our friend. It's not that it is always in a destructive mood. We praise him every day. We'll see that if we understand the role of wind, maybe sometimes we see a different nature of the wind. We see that it is in a destructive mood. We don't appreciate it. We don't take it. But remember, these winds, these obstacles, these hindrances, these difficulties, these challenges in our life will help us to become stronger and stronger every day. You will learn to be stronger. You see, during this period when you all were all confined at home, you all were thinking, now what will happen? When our classes will start? When will our school start? Are we really going to go to school? Or is it the end? But you see, the things gradually are taking shape. Gradually the things are back to the place. Things are improving. And it is because we did not give up. We did not say we can't do it. Every moment, every difficult moment that we all Indians, or you can say the people of the world have faced, we are taking it as a challenge and we are trying to make ourselves strong. So with this, the poem ends with a very good message that how wind or how we can learn a lesson from wind, that wind has two sides, or you can say two faces. One is its destructive mood. Another is its constructive mood. It is not that it is always spoiling us, or it is always disturbing us, or it is always destroying our lives. No, it is not that. Sometimes it is also must, and it works like a friend. It is only that we have to take these winds, these moments of difficulties, which are nothing less than the wind. We have to take this as a challenge, face it, and move ahead. Now let us have a quick summary of the whole poem through this pictorial representation. We see destructive mood of the wind. What are the destructive how we can say, what all things we said, that it brings rain. Yes, it brings rain, but sometimes it brings rain to an extent that it causes lot of damage. It scatters everything. You place something here, but with the strong wind blowing, the things will be scattered here and there, and you will find it so difficult to again gather it and put it in order. Throws down the books on the shelf. That is what I said. Again, it is showing its destructive mood. Breaks the shutters of the window. You keep the windows closed, but again, because of the wind, things will be again it will be destroyed. You see, what is the impact of the wind? Because of its destructive mood, what does it do? It destroys weak houses. It breaks the windows. It breaks the doors. It destroys lives. Yes, people also have to, you'll find that so many people, they die because of the strong wind accompanied by rain and flood and all that, it happens. Damages the rafters or the roofs. People who are somehow managing to have some kind of roof, taking the help of rafters, that also gets damaged. The best example, if you want to understand here, is those places, those states of our country which had recently, in the last 2 years, you will see that some of the states in our country, they have really faced these situations. So best way to understand is that you see how they have faced the cyclone and what is the impact of that. And it disappoints the people. Yes, it disappoints the people because they have to remain without food, without electricity, without water, without shelter for so many months. People really cry because they have to live, they have to manage with that hunger, without food. So the life becomes a challenge then. Every moment becomes a challenge. At the same time, it winnows and crushes the ones which are weak. Taking the example of winnowing, wind god winnows and separates. Yes, it separates the weaker ones from the stronger ones. Constructive nature of the wind. It's not that it is only the destructive, but there are certain things which are constructive. As I said, winnowing cannot be done when there is no wind. We have windmills. There are certain states where wind energy is used to run these windmills, and they are further converted into different form of energy, which are again converted into electrical energy and all that power, right? So wind, it is used to generate electricity. It's not that it is always destructive, it is always doing destruction. No, sometimes it is also helping us. And without wind, movement will not be possible. You see the sailors. It is not possible for them to move if there is no wind. So it is also having a constructive nature. So that is the balance. Every coin has got two sides, good and the bad, the positive and the negative. We just should not think or accept that no, something is only good or something is only bad. Everything has got two sides. Now, let us have a quick recap of the poem. It is addressing to the wind, and it is showing two major phases of the wind's life. As I said, here the poet has personified wind, considered it to be just like us, just like any person, and sharing with us that the wind has, at moments you'll find wind behaving like a child, and some moment you'll find wind behaving like a youth. Adversities of life. Yes, wind is symbolizing adversities of life, challenges of life. Life is not always smooth. And we also have to appreciate the power of wind. Appreciate, as well as we have to prepare ourselves, keeping in mind what a powerful thing this wind is. It can destroy us. So we have to prepare ourselves. Preparedness for facing these challenges is must because of the power of the wind. And it is not only important for us to be physically strong, but we have to be mentally, emotionally strong. And here, in the end, the poet has compared wind with God. It is friend with wind. We have to understand that it is worshipped like God. At the same time, we have to accept that wind also shows its furious face, right? And when it shows, it brings a lot of destruction. But this also teaches us that be self-reliant, be prepared. You should have proper preparedness. Otherwise, you cannot withstand this, right? So I think the poem is clear to all my learners. Now, let me quickly tell you what are the poetic devices. Yes, we have several poetic devices used here by the poet. First is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is word repeated at the start of two or more lines. Like, don't is repeated in line number 2, 3 and 4, and then U is repeated in line 6, 7 and 8. So this poetic device is, and why is it used? Anything that is being repeated, remember, it is to emphasize on certain things. So here the poet is trying to emphasize on what destruction, or what is the intensity of the destruction, or what kind of things it destroys or disturbs, right? Okay. Next is personification. Personification, as I said, that here the poet starts the poem with a conversation with the wind. So the wind is personified, is considered somebody like us, right? And here the poet is addressing wind, sometimes like a child, sometimes like a youth, and it's trying to talk to the wind, right? That's why in line number, you see in the third part of the poem, if you see, he won't do what you tell him. In this particular line, you can understand that poet is referring wind as, he is referred to wind here. That means the poet has used personification here. Now, repetition, here it's repeated, crumbling, so many times it has been repeated. That is to emphasize on the destructive nature of the wind. Alliteration, what does it mean? Alliteration is when you have the initial consonant sound being repeated. You see, so wind, winnows. So were is repeated. Won't, want. So it is were that is being repeated, right? So whenever you have the initial consonant sound being repeated in the two consecutive words, then we say it is alliteration. Then we have symbolism. Yes, wind is symbolized here. Wind is symbolized as what? As I clearly mentioned in my discussion, that wind is symbolized as the challenges in life. Yes, it is not simply we are talking about the wind, or the poet has talked about the wind, but poet wants us to understand that wind means difficulties. Wind means challenges in life. Wind means turbulences in life, right? And there are several idioms, several phrases using the wind, right? In your colloquial language, in your mother tongue also, you must have heard several such phrases or idioms being used where wind is referred, and it is showing that it means turbulences, it means difficulties. So what is the message of this poem? Challenges are part of our life. We cannot ignore challenges. We cannot just say that my life will be free of challenges. Never. It is never possible. Stronger would always try to destroy the weaker. Yes, wind is stronger, and it will always try to destroy the weaker one, suppress the weaker one. The Britishers, they were trying to suppress the Indians. You see how Indians fought for that. So difficult. It was such a tough time for all the Indians, all those freedom fighters, right? So, but we did not give up. We fought back, and we finally got our independence. Make yourself strong. Be prepared to face the challenges. Make yourself strong. Don't give up. Be physically, mentally, and emotionally strong to withstand turbulences in life. If you just give up, then the one which is stronger will take it as a fun and will laugh at you and will remain stronger and will think that they have already surrendered. Never surrender. You try, you fight and fight. These are some of the questions from your text. What are the things the wind does? You have to refer to line number 2 to 5. It's clearly given. What does the poet say? The wind god winnows. It winnows the weaker one from the stronger one, or the ones which are lighter and heavier. It separates them. What should we do to make friends with the god? We have to make ourselves strong, and we have to understand that it also brings some good things for us. It also helps us. What do the last 4 lines of the poem mean to you? Just think, what does it mean? It is referring, again, it is trying to convey a message to you. How does the poet speak to the wind? Is it in anger or with humor? It is mostly in anger, because poet is not very happy with the kind of mood, the kind of nature the wind has shown to the human beings, or the difficulties, or you can say the Britishers have done to the Indians, is not very happy with it. You must have seen or heard of the wind crumbling lives. What is your response? Is it the same that of poet? Think on this. With this, I conclude my discussion, assuming that all of you have carried that message with you, that we have to learn to be strong both physically and emotionally, and have the feeling that never give up. Have that determination in your life that we will never give up, will always face the challenges, and will prove ourselves stronger than the ones who try to be stronger than us. Thank you so much. Have a good day.